Hello everyone, it's me, Maya, and welcome to my channel. As you know, March was Women's History Month, so I thought I'd share all the things I did to celebrate Women's History Month and maybe also give you some recommendations of what you could do to celebrate Women's History Month in the future. So let's get started. One of the first things I did was watch movies. As you know, I am a big movie lover and book lover as well. So the movie and book loving pretty much rival each other. So I made it a point to watch women-centric movies this month. The first movie I saw was He Named Me Malala. I think I might have seen that movie at the end of February, but I'm still going to put that in there. If you don't know, Malala was a young girl who fought for the right for girls to be educated, and she was shot in the face by the Taliban. And she basically continues to not let that stop her, and she has become an icon. It was so amazing to see that movie and see her journey and just how courageous she was. And I think about myself and all the rights that I have, and I think I kind of take it for granted that in other places of the world, girls are still fighting for their rights and girls are still dying because of people not thinking they should learn anything. So I definitely suggest you see that movie. There were a couple of times that I cried, I'm not even gonna lie, but it was just really eye-opening to see one girl struggle and just how she was still able to retain some humor in her life, but she also takes it upon herself to say, hey, I'm gonna fight for the rights of women like me who are still getting hurt because of what we believe in. Another movie I saw was Girl Rising, which was a number of stories about girls in different places of the world, girls who are dealing with young forced marriages, so they're getting married as young as 12, maybe as young as 9. There's also, I want to say, forced labor and just as a girl not having any power over your body, which still scares me that is even a possibility, because you think of your future daughters and your future granddaughters and you don't want them to ever have to deal with that. But there are some girls all over the world that are dealing with this. I thought it was really interesting, the scope of girl stories that they had, and I don't think of all the things that other people have to go through, but this movie was able to put it in perspective. I saw it one time before in college, but I only came in at the ending, so I didn't really remember a lot of what happened before, but I was able to see it all the way through this time. The last movie I saw was A Ballerina's Tale, and I saw that on Netflix. And if you don't know, that was the story of Missy Copeland and how she was the first African American prima ballerina. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but she, as an African American woman, she has a very high status in the ballerina community, where before it was very hard for Black women to get into it as a whole. It was seen that they were too curvy, or they were not shaped as ballerinas. And then Missy Copeland came along. She didn't learn ballet until she was 12, which is really late for a ballerina to start. So she basically came along and just kicked it all on its head. She was also dealing with injuries as a result of one of her prize performances, and it's just like all of these movies just show me how powerful women are, and it also helps me get outside of myself and say, hey, I know you're having a bad day, but there are a lot of other people in the world who are having worse days, so keep this in perspective. I know a lot of times you don't think of other people, you're just saying, I am having a bad day, and I don't really care about the other people right now, but it's really important to keep it in perspective. So those are the 3 movies that I saw. I know Ballerina's Tale is on Netflix. I think Girl Rising is on Netflix as well. I'm not sure if He Named Me Malala is on Netflix. I saw that on Amazon Instant Video, but these are all accessible and they're definitely important movies to see. I kind of charge you all to see it, whether it's Women's History Month or not. These are very important movies that you need to know about and just kind of see other people's stories. Next, I want to go into my book recommendations, and today I have 4 books to recommend to you all, one from each category. So 1 from middle grade, one from YA, one from adult, and one nonfiction book. I wanted to give you a range of book recommendations so you can see that there are different types of books out there and all of the different types of stories, and you're not just getting YA, you're not just getting middle grade, you're getting a little bit of both depending on what types of books that you enjoy. The first book or books is Sweet Whispers Brother Rush by Virginia Hamilton. As you can see, I have two copies of this book, which can tell you how much I enjoyed it. One I have had forever, and one I had to purchase for my senior thesis because I was away from home where this book was. So this book is about Tree, who is really able to learn a lot about her family dynamic, her mother and her mentally retarded brother, and it allows her to see more of her world thanks to the mysterious brother Rush, who happens to be someone very important to her life. And it's cool how she's able to grow, but still not grow. Like, she's able to learn more about her world, but that doesn't mean that she has to grow up too fast, which is very important to see that you can have a coming of age story, but it's not saying that this 13 or 14-year-old has to now be thrust out into the real world. The next book is Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill. I have ranted and raved over this book so many times. This is a romance set in London, and that buzzword London is exactly what made me want to read this book. It's about Julia Lichtenstein, who is paired up with her worst nemesis while she tries to determine whether her meant to be is really her meant to be. It's a really great story about love and what we think love is, and how you cannot plan love out as much as you try. And she learns that a lot in this book. I love that it was placed in London because I love that city so much. So it takes you all around the London cities, and it's like going there without leaving your house, which I definitely appreciate. Next is One Day at a Time, which is the adult novel, which is not like adult as in sexy times every 2 seconds, adult as in the protagonist is an adult. What I liked about this one is I think as I stated before, this is one of the few books where I definitely saw myself in the main character, where the main character is sort of the black sheep of her family, and now she has to come back to her family and kind of see how much she really doesn't fit in. And she's a dog walker, and the rest of her family are all these she Hollywood people. She's kind of had to find out who she is. There's also love thrown in, which is so, you know how I feel about a good romance, and it's really much better when this romance has this really hot British actor. I'm just like, I love it. I love it so much. The next book is Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. As you can see, I'm still reading it, but I'm loving it so far, so I feel confident in recommending it. Shonda Rhimes was challenged by her sister to say yes to everything for an entire year. She is an introvert, and it's so very easy to say no to everything because there's nothing new to fear, and there's no even question of rejection. And I love this book so much because as an introvert, I can see myself in a lot of her reactions to things. It's like, of course I don't want to do this. This is scary, and I don't want anything new. It's taking me too far from my comfort zone, and I can definitely relate to a lot of what she's doing. I love that the book is very conversational, so it's not like you're getting these and thous and what have you. You're just getting a story, which I definitely appreciate it. And I just can't wait to finish it. I think this is probably going to be one of these books that I would like to own one day. This book, as you can probably tell, is a library book. But I think it's just really cool to see someone who is an introvert go to this part of where I appreciate myself for who I am. I'm not trying to totally change myself, and I do want to get out more. I want to get out of my comfort zone, but without completely being what they want me to be. I can still be myself and outside of my comfort zone, which I really just I appreciate seeing that, because sometimes you see where to change from introvert to extrovert, you have to have a complete upheaval, and you're just completely uncomfortable all the time. But that's not entirely the case, as she has shown. I'm like, yay, someone who has gotten out and can show me what it's like. the final thing is I have a place recommendation, which is the National Museum of Womanly Arts, which is located at 1250 New York Avenue Northwest and West in DC. As I told you before, I wanted to explore more in DC, and seeing as how it's Women's History Month, it just kind of came together really well. So like I found out that there was a museum in the arts. Let's go see it. And then I also found out that the museum is free on the first Sunday of the month. So like, let's go, let's see. So it was really cool to see how the museum was situated. It was definitely not what I was very familiar with, but it was like easy to catch on. I love how each artist that kind of took this, they took everything and they made it theirs. You would go from room to room and you'd see the sculptures and you see the paintings, and like you could tell that this is an artist that is not trying to be like anyone else. This is an artist that is just, yeah, I want to have some fun with whatever medium that I'm using. And I thought that was so amazing to see, because it's just like you love to see people who are enjoy their work, and especially when you see the finished product, it's like this. I can tell you were having fun with this. So now I want to show you some of the favorite artworks that I saw. Of course, I'm really bad at taking pictures when I'm in a museum, so I search for the picture. Now you can know what to look for when you go and kind of see it up close, because I don't I don't take pictures often when I'm going to museums, because I really feel like in hindsight the pictures never do the object justice, which is just a way of saying that I'm too lazy to take the picture, but that's beside the point. So here are the pictures. So I hope you have enjoyed those pictures. I hope you have enjoyed a lot of my recommendations, and maybe you'll pick up these movies or these books, or you'll visit the museum if you're ever in the area. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you like more of these videos, please subscribe. If you like this video, please like it and share it with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Bye!